are quite a polarizing figure, whether you believe it or not, Ian. You have a look at sort of feedback on Twitter and whatnot. You either love you, bit like Marmite, you love or hate you. And you've been caught up in your fair share of controversies, like all of us have. What I'm really trying to get at, there was a bit of a controversy towards the end of your time at Rangers, which was in regards to kind of the online betting and backing against Rangers at the time. What are your kind of memories of that? And what's the lasting legacy of that, mate?
In fact, so that's what happened here was we were on the bus and we were getting off the bus. So as we get off the bus, people on, and you're not allowed phones in the changing room. So the first 3 games I was just pressing 3 draws, so I just went draw. So that was it. Place bet, bang, done. So when I finished the game, got on the bus, you look at your phone, and you're like, oh, I ended up putting us on as a draw, and I scored the winning goal to fucking beat the draw. So. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if I had bet against my club to achieve some money, I would not have scored the winning goal. I would have kicked it over the crossbar.
Yeah.
And going back, I think I won a bet as well. So, I think I bet us to win. And again, I scored. And then, yes, I got, I think, £35. £35 worth of bets cost me 14 grand.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Daniel Sturridge has been recently sort of looked at for the same sort of thing. Well, not the same sort of thing. It was betting on a transfer. What kind of preparation goes into that, or went into yours? Are they able to access your account and check it without your knowledge, or is there a build up of evidence in the? What kind of goes around that, mate?
They can find out everything. They had that when I went to the panel. They had every single bet that I'd ever put on for a Ladbrokes account. It's talking from horse racing, ducktails, every single bet they pulled out, and they could have told me every single figure that I put and spent over Ladbrokes.
Wow. So how did this one come about? Was it a case of you just getting back on the coach and telling someone, and then they told someone else, or why did it get looked into?
It was I phoned up the Ladbrokes account, and obviously you've got your username and all that. We put it on. So when I went to the panel, they pressed place, and it was my voice. So it was somebody within Ladbrokes that done it.
Wow. I mean, do you think that just moving on slightly, but on the same subject, do you think there's a bit of a problem in sports / football with gambling?
It's a tough one, because everybody likes a gamble, everybody likes a buzz, and I understand you shouldn't be allowed players should not be allowed to bet on the competition that they're playing in. So if it's the Premiership, they can't bet on the Premiership. They can't bet on, if they're in the Champions League, they can't bet on the Champions League. Because on one side, they're accepting all these sponsorships from betting companies and advertising, and get players to advertise betting companies and pundits, but then telling players that they're not allowed to gamble. I just didn't get it. I totally agree that you should be able to bet on your own game and stuff like that, but yeah.
I think it's not just the betting though, is it? With the footballers, it's like a lot of the times, they're travelling on planes or coaches, or they're together a lot of the times. And yeah, fine, you see a lot of the newer generation, they play Uno, but there's a lot, the older generation. But they talk about the golden generation of the English players and stuff like that, the Michael Owens and that sort of generation. Like them boys were betting a hell of a lot of money on the card games they used to play, and the coach like going up and down. So there's obviously some sort of I'm not going to say an issue, but there's definitely something that they need support with, and a clear guidance to what's right, what's wrong, and what you can do. But it's a mixture of things, I think.
Yeah, it's a sore point on some people, but I don't think they'll ever be able to stop it. And this is the issue, like, that somebody will always be gambling, they'll always find out, somebody will always say something. And it's just going to it's never ending, really, for me. It'll never stop. Never will.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of examples. I mean, we live around sort of London, Essex, where we're talking quite a lot sort of before shows and whatnot of quite a famous case with Matthew Etherington. And I know that there was sort of card games on coaches and whatnot, that I've heard from a friend of mine that there was a Mercedes that was kind of lost on a card game, which then impacted mentally on it. Did you witness any of that sort of behaviour at sort of your at the clubs that you was at, sort of stuff?
I wouldn't say to the extent on cars and stuff like that, but money. I've seen large lumps of money, but not extravagant. But yeah, good money that, you know, like as a young pro would be like distraught, you know, they'd be, you know, doing the dumps and a bit worried and where they're going to find it or how they're going to pay the bills next month.
Yeah, I mean, and would you say that would have kind of impacted on performance levels? Do you think that would get in your head and would be able to sort of sway you from being able to perform at your optimum?
It depends on your personnel, really.
Yeah,
100%.
How strong you are, and how you know what I mean. Like some people would shrug it off, some people it was maybe affect, because they were like, some people would see it as, well, I get my wage next month, so it's fine. Or others would be like, oh no, how do I get rid of this? What do I do? I've just lost all that money. But, so yeah, like, that's quite fortunate. I never lost too much, so that's quite good.
yeah.
But no, I can see it. It'd be an issue both sides, really.
Yeah.
It's got to be about. It's got to be about like the highs, like, you know, when you're saying like you do the gambling because you get the buzz out of it. So, you know, when you get that buzz of winning, you know, the same way you get distraught when you don't win, and then the problem is you chase that next buzz, that sort of thing, you know, and you're chasing that feeling, and you know, they always say if you're going to gamble or do anything along those lines, don't play with money that you can't lose. But you maybe start off that way, and then once you're on a sort of a streak, maybe on a losing streak, then, you know, there's no one to pull you out, and you just keep on going, and that's probably where you run out of money. So then you put the car keys on there, you know. I don't know, but again, depending on who the person is, it affects people differently, just like Ian said there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Turk, you was going to say something there, mate?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you coming towards the end, obviously, your Rangers career, and when you had that alteration with McCall, if you like, do you think that might have been a part of it? Because obviously I think it was 2013 when you were suspended and fined, if you like, and then him coming in. Do you think that was his way of having a little bit of a dig back at you because it was Rangers, or do you just genuinely think that was two separate incidences? And then the second part to that question, do you think that was the start of kind of your career going down a different direction? Because obviously then you come into England and play your football. Do you think you needed to get away from Scotland at that time?
So I think, being all honest, he ruined the rest of my career. But after Rangers, you know, you leave a sort of clubs at the side of Rangers and play so many games for Rangers, to then leaving and not getting a club at all for 4 months. Proves to me, and I know my ability, looking at the boards, that I was more than capable of playing ahead of any players in some of the other teams. So yeah, I struggled to find a club because he won't admit it. He won't be big enough to admit it. That he was backstabbing me and ruined my career. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great question. It's a great question, mate. I mean, well, when we were sort of discussing you coming onto the show, thankfully, a couple of friends of yours contacted us. One in particular sent us a lovely little message on Twitter to relay to you from Dargo. says he gave us a retweet. He said, "Tell Blackie I'm asking for him, and he was a quality player. Got a reputation for being a tough tackler. Being tough tackling, but was far more than that. He could play and was technically great as well. A character both on and off the pitch, along with being a good lad, even though he is a Jambo." So, yeah, nice.
We've got one more as well from Stuart McCall. Do you want us to read it out? He said he wants to meet you down an alleyway or something.
He said he's still waiting, mate. He's still waiting.
He's still waiting.